All right.
Here we go. So whenever we loaded the game, it just jumped right into this cutscene.
Yep, because this is how the chapter started.
Yep, with everybody kind of blinking at each other and the Ultimatum laboratory. I was expecting there to be another startup with Letitia and
we
all
haven't
that,
seen
but...
her for a while.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I'll do my updates.
Yes, please. Meanwhile, we'll put the auto on.
Based on my findings, it was caused by a...
Yeah, last time we fought, I believe we fought Hien, and it didn't actually work out so well.
Devil,
Right.
so they can prevent excess power from flowing into God.
Everybody kind of had
they're
collapsed and didn't do so well.
I have discovered that the power is counter-flowing from the crystal to us.
And this is actually important, so listen to your crystal dynamics professor.
Simply put, we exist in a state where the crystal will erode us.
And darn it, this is what happens when you reverse the polarity.
Every time Kamikaze uses the power, the counterflow, the erosion activates.
Lorik says, Awakened Fate wouldn't want to date him.
Fights
Speak for yourself.
the bigger the toll.
I will admit that, yeah, of all the people currently on the screen, there are none of them that would actually want to date.
For the
Vin's birthday was yesterday, so we were out with him, and we actually talked a little bit about Ariel and the favorite girls being the one that, like, they mentioned. He actually mentioned that Lorak's the kind of person likes the girl next door, doesn't like Devil Doctor because she calls us names, and Ben's like, ooh, tell me more, you know.
Remove the crystal? Does that mean Sir Shin must die one more time?
It's more like he'll fall into an eternal sleep. Removing the crystal, the source of his
Who knew
power,
killing God was so easy? Nietzsche is rolling in his grave, you know.
Based on my findings of the current stage, it's impossible to fix this phenomenon from the source.
From a different perspective, you could say that other than the effect it has on YouTube...
In related news, I am still a heartless so-and-so.
You don't care what happens to your sister? That's quite cold-blooded of you. So much, in fact, that I'd like to recruit you as a devil.
First of all, Jupiel offered her soul, resolute in the fact that she was risking
No take
her
backsies now, little sis.
You have no right to call me cold-blooded.
That is true. I offered my soul knowing that I might...
That's the thing, it's like, you know, Jupiel knew pretty much exactly what she was signing up for. So.
Right.
If you say so. However, do you think Kamikaze would fight?
And I think that Muriel is kind of hitting upon another idea. It's like, well, yeah, if the only problem is that it counterflows into the two of them, theoretically it should be possible to keep it going.
Right.
But Sir Shin would be afraid.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. It's like, well, you know, it's an acceptable, you know, side effect.
Well, no, I'm saying that, you know, if the problem is that power is flowing into the two of them, using crystals, it should be conceivably possible to further diffuse it out.
Is that an acceptable reason to lose the war? Even if you two will suffer when he uses
See, the problem you're going with is that you think this makes sense.
No, I'm saying that within the thing of the world, you know, that would conceivably be what she would go for eventually.
Right.
Sister?
But Marielle is still in Black Hat. You know, bad guy is actually on the good guy's side right now.
Of course I know that. What I am asking is when will he be able to get up and move around again?
Sister.
For now, he's retaining his human form with the help of the
so he's in his current
system,
state.
but he is consuming too much energy to fix his body. Even if we account for the accelerated healing from the crystal, if you send him off to the battlefields, he'll only get in your way.
We did have a scene.
Oh, that's right. The thing that happened last time was that General Phyllis set us up a bomb.
Right.
And Shin saved all of the angels and Jupiel. In exchange, basically got himself
Once
nuked.
you can determine a general estimate, let me know. You can go back now. Make sure our Lord...
When is he going to pull himself up by his bootstraps?
The moment his will to fight ceases, we must kill him.
See? That's a problem Ben always has with his writer hat. He wants things to actually, you know, make sense and flow in a coherent way.
I'm just saying that it's something that could have
I was
happened.
merely explaining the facts to our unreasonable archangel. More importantly, I wonder what Kamikaze would say regarding what's going to happen from now on.
Reminds me of the this is like early aughts, but there was one of the guys that did a they called them the thumbnail theaters. It was like one of the early parody things for a series. One of them was for I don't remember if it was Evangelion or if it was Nadesco, which of course parodied that scene. But it was one of the character, you know, I must fight, but I mustn't fight. I must fight, but I mustn't fight.
Are you okay?
If you can call being charred to ash being okay, then I guess so.
It'll be troubling if you die.
It would be a terrible inconvenience, as a point of fact.
After all,
And,
I finally found you.
And this reminds me of one of the big
Are you scared?
D&D things with like using the shadow conjuration stuff to create beings and then basically extort favors from them on the grounds that if they don't do what you want them to, you make them cease to exist.
I am scared. If they're both gonna suffer. I mean, I've become a much better person thanks to
If you're not a terrible person, you're not doing D&D right, is basically what I'm saying.
You'll stop being God?
I don't know.
Got it. Then I'll make the preparations.
I do like how proactive Letitia is, by the way.
That's a secret.
So the story of why Himitsu does. Secret preparations is for a surprise birthday party. Nothing sinister here, you know.
Yes, hence the title of our stream, Bonds of Torment.
Oh man, I wish I could be playing Planescape Torment right about now. That way when we have an hour of watching dialogue tick by, at least something's happening.
I figured you'd sleep longer.
What time?
Don't worry about what time
The chat
it
voted to
is.
switch rooms
You're
to
currently
the
being
Devil
treated as
Doctor
a
Lab
super
last time.
VIP.
That's why Shin
There's
is
no
here
work
instead
for you
of
to do.
the
Instead of
king.
being in pink.
Just
Right.
A VIP, huh?
God in the form of a bullet. That's a interesting title.
So, did you find anything out about that
Technically, it'd be God in the role of a bullet, but you know.
Oh, yes, I suppose.
You don't sound very
Cast in
sure.
the name of God.
Well, I don't
You're
want
not
to
guilty.
rush to a conclusion that I may have made
Yes,
a
Lorax,
mistake.
more noodles.
You made a mistake? What do you mean?
For once, the game forbears with repeating dialogue you've just heard and gloss over it.
Right.
Granted, because this is still this game, there's still quite a few text boxes about it, but it's still faster than, you know.
That is basically it. Any questions?
Don't hit yes, don't hit yes.
Does that mean there'll still be a defect the next time I fight?
That would be the case, yes.
So from now on, I'll have to fight
Although-
between the two of you.
At least it seems like when he's fighting in his usual state, it isn't too bad.
What a terrible time for Shin to grow in empathy.
However, do not worry. I accept responsibility for my own mistakes. Juby should be well prepared as well, so don't worry about us, and go all out when you fight.
I can't do that. Knowing that it's gonna make you two suffer, there's no way I'll be able to fight.
Now, you
Even
might
if
be
you tell me to
thinking,
fight,
it's
you
like,
can't
wouldn't it be
make me.
worse if the devils win and kill them all?
You're so
And the game actually
unreasonable.
acknowledges that, and that's
This
basically what
proves
they tell
that you
them.
haven't made any progress since you've
which is
been
great.
here.
Ariel, when I first came here, I thought that everything that's been happening here has nothing to do with me. I always saw myself as a victim who got dragged into this. I was brought here against my will and forced
Which is
to
true,
fight.
actually.
But it's different now. I've decided to save everyone of my
A
own
little helpful
free will.
coercion from Muriel, of course.
I haven't changed my mind yet.
In that case, I believe you should fight as God.
But even so, I can't fight
But
if
yeah,
it
I do
means
like
sacrificing
how,
you two.
you know, this is kind of like
Two
what
are
you
my
see a lot for
saviors.
people that are going
You
through
guys
changes
helped
in
me
their life.
regain my
It's
footing
like he's
when I was
starting to
still
overcorrect
thinking
a
and
little
acting
bit
like
at
an
precisely
idiot.
the worst time.
Right.
Are you telling me to turn a
Unleash your
blind
Bankai
eye to the fact that my
Ichigo.
saviors
I
will
can't
suffer?
Rukia.
If you will not fight, I will be forced to kill you.
What do you mean?
Of course, you know, overcorrecting at the worst possible
Just as I
time.
said,
Also, a
we
bit
have no
Blizzard's
need
approach
for a
to
god who
approach to
won't
balance in their
fight.
games.
I will remove the crystal, find another candidate, and implant it into them.
Yup, that's exactly right.
What happens if I decline? Are you going to remove the crystal? Am I going to die?
No. Though it would be truly unfortunate, we would have to wait until the next crystal could be purified.
Truly unfortunate.
That's what Mariel meant by unfortunate.
Remember, his own free will.
Purifying a new crystal would take an enormous amount of magic. We don't have the resources to do that, so we'd have to recycle yours.
Ariel, even so, I'll never fight. Through my defect, I'd only end up hurting the both of you. Knowing you, you probably won't make the same mistake when you transplant the crystal into the next guy. Go ahead. Hurry up and dispose of a defective god like me and choose someone else.
And Noodles to the face. Aw, I was hoping that it would have been a bit hotter. Ah, well.
Why the hell did you do that?
You! And after I went ahead and... Fine.
Exactly, Lorax. It's all a commentary on the
that
evils
when
of
you first
recycling.
got here, you were whining all the time like that. Very well. Serves you right. If you want to get disposed of so much, do whatever
Nice.
you want.
I like the read on that one.
I am dumbfounded. I admit I would be too if I got noodles all over my face.
Jubiel? Eri?
I heard yelling. Would it be better if we came back later?
Did you hear us?
I am terribly
Ariel gets her
sorry.
noodle going.
I did not intend to overhear, so I could not find a good time to enter, even though I should have.
I don't know how well you all can hear this to the mic. We've got
Yeah,
somebody
I
in
know
the
you
apartment
didn't
upstairs kind of clattering around.
Why are you covered in ramen? I shall.
Yeah, don't mind us. We're doing a little
Please
spring cleaning in the background.
wait a moment.
Aw.
Best
Although
waifu.
I removed the solid parts, you are covered with the broth as well.
I thought there's a
Please
matter of
take a
fact
shower
about
and
it.
change
Right.
immediately.
Well,
Absolutely.
to be fair, this probably isn't the first person who's gotten ramen thrown at them
So,
by Ariel.
True.
What'd you guys fight about?
It's none of your business.
No, I remember, I don't know if the writers did, but I remember the start of this chapter. He is like, charred to the bone. Taking a shower is probably going to hurt.
True.
Is it regarding the crystal?
Although to be fair, since he woke up and she didn't mention it, I guess we're supposed to
You already
assume that
know
he's
that,
more healed
right?
up now.
Probably some time has passed, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to inflict harm on you two by using the power of the crystal. So I'm not
Devil
gonna
Doctor
fight.
covers you in noodles. Angel Princess removes noodles. Princess plus
talking
one.
about?
In a communist regime, it would be throw noodles, clean noodles.
But if Shin says he doesn't want to fight, he shouldn't have to.
Always a voice of reason, Eerie.
In the event that Sir Shin loses the will to fight,
I also like, too, how even though Shin is changing a lot, there are still some core problems he hasn't dealt with. Like the fact that he is still incredibly
If I don't fight,
self-centered.
Right.
there'll be a
The
whole lot
fact
of
that he can
victims
say to Eri,
who have
hey,
no choice
this
but
doesn't
to
concern
fight.
you, when his death would, in fact,
Why don't you just quit
impact
being
her.
God?
Right.
It's like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
What are you saying? There's no way.
Like, why are you God in the first place? You have nothing to do with the angels or devils. Why are you risking your life like that?
Otis born being God,
Miss
you know.
Aerith, it cannot
Some
be said
achieve
that our battle has
godness.
nothing entirely to do with the human world.
Look at your God, and look at me.
If the devils were to win, your world will be enveloped in the enormous power of darkness, which would eventually lead to extinction. No, that's
Wait a minute.
Change the fact that you angels should be the ones
Then
who are
again,
trying their
Eri
best.
clearly doesn't really know what's going
You
on.
Right.
must fight.
And also, to
because
be
the
fair-
human world will also be in
Nice.
danger. You're just using a threat to make him fight.
Also, to be fair, as somebody
And to
living
top it all off,
in today's
if he
era
doesn't
of
fight,
news
you're gonna
cycles,
kill him?
the apocalypse is
Who
every
do
other
you think
weekend.
you
So
are?
he's probably a little jaded at this point.
Also, I don't feel like anything good's gonna come from this, even if the angels win. Seeing as how you guys treat Shin, angels seem to only view humans as slaves. Honestly, you're no
It is
different
true
from
that the
devils.
fact that three of the
Miss
four people in this
Aerith, I
conversation
will
are
not
basically
abide
prisoners.
Such an insult.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, Sir Shin chose to fight as
Yeah,
God
that's one of
of
those
his own
interesting
free
things
will.
about people's
Please
perspective
stop.
on
If you
issues and
two are
stuff
just
like
gonna
that.
fight, then
Is
just
in the
go home.
abstract, keeping people imprisoned indefinitely against
I'll
their will
stop.
and everything, not a good thing.
Miss Aerith,
On the flip side, it's kind of protective
terribly
custody
sorry for
because the devils
raising my
totally
voice.
want to, kill them
excuse me.
and use their torture and death as a way to get leverage on their enemies,
I meant you
which
too.
kind of makes them worse.
Let me ask you one thing.
really fighting for the sake of Celestia of your own
free will?
That's the one thing I am certain about. Without a doubt, this is
Moonhair should really be a waifu choice, Lorax
I
says.
agree. You know, Area is kind of the
What?
the human
Look like
choice.
you
of
want
the
to say
beginning.
something.
Right. Yeah, then I mentioned that last time.
You've
Would have been kind of cool for it to be
Like your whole
angel,
vibe
devil,
and
and
everything.
human or neutral or something.
You really think so?
Well,
Light, dark, and
you're
Switzerland.
different than the Shin I knew. If he were suffering, I would have told him to quit, but that's none of my business.
Later. I no longer have anything to do.
Yep. Yeah, you can't do any training. You can't fight. Well, yeah.
Big sister, please wait. Sir Shin is currently resting.
It was driven away.
Looks like you have woken up.
Mario's quick
Yes.
to move too.
Good morning.
I am glad.
I am glad.
More
She says
important.
totally not gladly.
Have you recovered from your injuries yet?
Well,
That's
see-
true. You know, look on the
Sir
bed.
Shin
What
is
the heck?
not
There is no
ready.
bed here.
Well, there's like a headboard right on the
Jupiel,
left
I am
part of the
sorry,
frame,
but I
right?
am asking
Yeah, I
Lord
think that's
Shin.
supposed to be a bunk bed, but there was
Are
also
you
the
ready
joke that
to
Ariel
fight
made.
yet?
It's like, hey, you can sleep on the
on
floor.
the
There's
floor.
going to be a
Yeah,
table.
I can barely walk.
Oh, he's probably in the hospital bed.
What about
Or
your
that could be
will?
they wheeled in a
When
gurney
you
type
have fully
thing.
Right.
recovered, will you have the will to immediately resume fighting?
Big sister, does that question need to be asked now? Please have a little consideration.
Mario
for
crushes
Sir Shin's
feelings.
Jupiel, our enemies will have no regard for our
It's like these people can't seem to remember that there is
As
a
angels,
war going
we
on.
should
Right.
never let our enemies influence our actions. We are not devils.
Yeah, beware when fighting monsters and all that.
That is enough.
Yeah, you know, Jupiel has been standing
I've
up to
left the
Mario a
duty
lot
of
more
coaching him to
recently.
you
So.
so that you would get him to fight as God, not so that you could
We
smash
know
him.
that you've been getting waifu choices, Jupiel.
My role is that of his coach. Then managing him would also fall under my duties.
Do you not understand? We are not
Mario's
here
not here to be
his
anybody's friend.
He is here to defeat the devils.
That is
and
unfortunately
guide
kind of the
Celestia to
problem of
victory.
being a commander. It's like,
Right.
yeah, you
Also,
have to remember that at
do
any
not
time you could have to
forget,
order people to their
if he is
deaths.
not willing to fight, we must deal with that, no matter what the circumstances are.
You're ready for the big game, Ichigo.
Go get your head in the game, Shin.
I am not a devil. Also, I am your exclusively assigned angel. It should be obvious that you are my first priority.
I admit, I kind of wish that at least one of the training montages would have had, like,
I
you know,
want to consider
Jupiel
your
giving
feelings
Shin the
above
squirt
all
bottle,
others.
or, you know,
Those are my
doing
true feelings.
the coach a little Mac, you know,
However,
pat him on the shoulder to recover
But I want
HP.
you to
Right.
focus on fighting the devils, even if Miss Ariel or I suffer.
Yeah, considering how many chances they had to play up those relationship dynamics in the pilot mode, and whenever you're in a dungeon, they don't really do that too much.
Right.
Hey, don't ask me.
Honestly,
Although I suppose
dead
part of it
wrong.
is because, you know,
Therefore,
even
Sir
up
Shin,
until near the end of the game,
let us
there
not
is no
think about
real,
this for a while.
you know, real relationship going on in any exclusive sense.
True, yeah. Well, she is exclusively assigned angel.
Yes, but that isn't really the relationship that we're thinking of.
This long angel will rot your mind.
You're right.
Let us go, Sir Shin.
It'll rot your mind, just like video games, am I right?
Okay.
I will
let's
say
go.
that I actually am completely,
Understood.
you know, sympathetic
In
to
that
Shin
case-
in this case, because when I was, you know, sprawled out on the hospital bed, it was miserable. So of course I'm, you know, a fairly active guy and I tend to think a
Able to
lot.
walk right now, correct? I
So yeah,
shall
just
be
being
your
stuck on
companion.
a bed and not being able to do a whole lot is just like ah.
Now then, let us go.
You would think that this would be Jupiel points gained, by the way, but
You'd think.
next event.
You only get points whenever there is a decision to be made.
Indeed.
Unfortunately.
My.
Again, the
Well,
no
it is
eye
not my
angels.
favorite she-devil witch.
Isn't that the same
You
sprite
sure
as
have
what's her
quite the
face who
standing
died?
around here.
Meliel, yep.
Are
Yeah.
you out for a walk?
Yeah, they've already reused
Where are you
Zoluel, so
planning to go today? Are you out looking for more instant noodles again?
this is the way to the cafeteria.
What? Perfect timing. I was already
Nice.
pissed off.
Throw down.
Okay, let's do
Fight!
it.
Fight! Fight!
Huh? What are you?
perfect for taking my mind off things.
Go, Ariel, go!
What are you doing, Miss Ariel? Miss Ariel, please stop. Let me go.
I'm gonna beat the crap out of all of them.
Hey there, Keen.
Hey.
Yes, cat fight.
What are you doing? Everyone disperse. Now, you will all have to explain the
Come on,
situation
Mariel.
to
Just a little bit longer. Oh, fine.
Jeez, it is the fuzz.
So, Ariel, what is the meaning of such disgraceful
devil.
behavior? Answer me. I have provided you the same freedoms as an angel, but that does not include the right to commit violence. I may have to punish you.
None of you can see the eyebrow waggling, but Double Entendre Ultimatum continues on.
Droopy is the coach Lorax says, and Mariel is the principal. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Don't think this is over. We'll meet after school in the playground.
So Shin, do you like to sew?
Sewing?
Can't punish her.
Why are you asking
Wheel
me about that
biologist.
all of a sudden?
I have heard that doing something different than what you usually
That is a
do
reference,
is a
Keen,
good
that went
way to
right over my
stress.
head.
However,
Or the water spout, even.
you can barely move around, so I figured it would be best to try
It's funny you
fun
mentioned that,
indoor
Lorax. He jokes you like to sew and need more plushies.
Maybe
Actually,
true,
that's...
but sewing?
I think that's about what
The only
happens.
things I know how to do are putting on buttons, stitching up rags.
Aha!
He clearly doesn't have enough.
Running rampant in a room.
Putting on buttons and stitching up rags seem more like punishment. So I thought we should do something fun.
And making me sew would be punishment.
Yeah, it's funny because our mom gave Wayne a sewing kit to fix buttons, and I just grabbed it and I use it.
Right. A Futurama reference, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm never much of a fan of Simpsons.
Like a great old one. Yes.
Never much of a fan of Simpsons or Futurama.
Since this is your first time, it cannot be helped that it wound up being slightly
You managed to
useful.
make non-Euclidean geometry with a plushie.
Let us make another one. Please imagine.
Doesn't it always suck when you start off trying to make Snoopy and you end up with a Hound of Tindalos?
I would be happy to assist you. It will turn out better if you make it as round and SD
I
as
don't know what
possible.
SD stands for.
Super deformed.
But it will be
large head,
harder
large
than
eyes.
just
Gotcha,
being
gotcha.
small.
Lorax, you like My Little Pony and not Futurama? Dude!
What kind of nerd are you? The worst kind.
Well, clearly Futurama needed more musical numbers of talking ponies, right?
Yeah, likewise, I can be sympathetic with Shin on this one. So I've tried to teach myself how to draw and do wood burning and things like that. Yeah, the first couple of times are
What?
always
something you wanna say
horrifically
to me?
bad.
Right.
And you just have to accept
Not
that.
really.
But of course, Shin
It
being,
appears you
you know,
took
a
him
quitter
around,
and
but
not very
Kamikaze
self-assured of
hasn't
himself,
fully healed
he would
yet.
take it really
What were
hard.
you thinking?
It is also important
Well.
to refresh his mind.
I am officially the worst
You
kind
should
of
have
nerd,
at least
apparently.
told me beforehand. I'm in charge of his maintenance. It'd cause problems if he got worse.
You're the one who just left on your own.
Point.
You're right.
Miss Ariel, are you hurt?
Oh, this is nothing. It's more like I was just going at them without much resistance.
Since you are not used to punching people, you may not know that you can hurt your fists when you do so. I doubt that you have treated yourself
That's one of the
yet.
pranks people do for you know, for like boxing and martial arts and stuff like that. Somebody just comes in just to punch at the bags and everything. So people will go ahead and use like the really heavy ones that look about the same.
First of all,
and it's like, yeah, if you don't use proper form, like keep your wrist, you know, basically keep the plane of your arm straight and your fists just a little loose and everything, you can really hurt yourself, you know.
This is an enemy attack?
And by pranking me, yeah, people have broken their elbows doing that.
Sister, what is happening?
And, you know, also, even if you do that, if you haven't actually built up any tight calluses or anything, you know, you can skin your knuckles.
They are surely coming to finish us off.
Understood. I will be
That's
gone.
assuming that Ariel doesn't have long nails that would, you know, bite into her palms. So.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't go for the broken nail on something, but. Says a devil, maybe she just naturally has really long
If you can fight, I would like
claws.
you to do so. To protect Celestia from the devils.
Sister, Sir Shin cannot fight yet. Allowing him
And this
to try.
kind of reminds me, and I'm glad that I don't think they'll be going with it, but in the in some games they'll have situations where you like have to fight under a handicap, like you have lost health, you have little health, things like that.
Right.
So I'm glad that I don't think they'll be doing that for this one. It would make a lot of sense.
It would have been an interesting...
And yes, will we fight even if it makes them suffer? I have to fight. I can't fight. What do you think, chat?
We mustn't run away. We must run away. We mustn't run away.
Anyway, you were saying?
But yeah, this might not have been a bad time to use it, actually. If you, like, penalize a Shin, but otherwise make him fight earlier dungeons worth of enemies or something. There's ways it could have made it work.
Right.
But yeah, instead, there's absolutely no gameplay ramifications at all. Considering how abstracted the whole Phantasma thing is anyway, you know.
Yep, have to fight. Everyone's gonna die anyway.
Oh, I think Lorax is probably right. If that decision gave you both, you probably had
Sir
to.
Shin? But
You
your
probably had to pick
injuries
it.
are still...
Didn't you try the devil choice?
This is nothing.
That was the Chapter 4 one. No, I did do the devil choice here. I would have had to, yeah. I remember then.
This is your reaction when I simply push against you? What can you do? Wounded soldiers should just stay put.
You're useless anyway,
As you can
Kamikaze.
see, Kamikaze has yet to stabilize and is unable to fight. He'd be useless.
Like Muriel
in
just poked her
battle.
head in. Is there a chance to abuse our character?
No, I wouldn't. Who cares about my injuries? If I don't fight, the devils are gonna attack everyone again. It's true that I definitely don't want the two of you to suffer because I'm fighting. But if I don't
Shin is
fight,
jumping
something
ahead in the
worse is
script a
gonna
little
happen.
bit. We're so worried about his, you know, getting blown
Ariel,
up last
I'm
time.
sorry, but I have to go out and fight.
Sir Shin, thank you very much.
And since Lorax didn't mention it, I think
Well,
I'm going to
against
use it
it.
now.
Even
Magic
if you
medicine
take such a
bag?
tattered soldier, he's just gonna get in the way.
Miss Ariel,
So come on, Devil Doctor. Aren't there like some
Something I
shots you
need
can
to
give him?
Sorry.
Huh? What is
Well,
this all of a
we
sudden?
better hope not. You know, he could be
We were just trying
paralyzed,
to back
passed
them up
out.
so that we could fight our enemies head on. You were only trying to make it so that I wouldn't die. Without considering your feelings, I tried to force my feelings on you. So let me make you a promise. I'm not defective. As this Celestia's god, I will fulfill my duties. So let me do it. I don't ever want to see another person
Which is a
die,
very
ever.
Japanese attitude to have.
Are you
I am
serious?
currently,
You can
half
barely
burned to
stand.
death. Can barely
We're going
move
to be
anything
attacked
else,
by
but
the
duty says
devils
I
and many
fight, so off I go.
forces.
Right.
Do you really think you can beat those
Yeah,
guys
and
in
once
a
again,
fight?
it's one thing I like about
I
Ariel.
won't
So
allow
practical
you to
she
do
is. Yeah, that's all
something
well
so
and good.
irresponsible.
But,
I'm gonna do it. I'll make sure I do it.
and yeah,
But
it's
he
like,
has
Something
Ganbada
that only
spirit,
I can
so.
do.
it's just
I don't
a
do
consequence
this.
of, like the Ben was saying, no gameplay problems
Wait a second.
and no like no art things. Like you can't
Hold
doesn't
on.
look any different.
We've got medicine.
A restorative medicine and painkiller in one.
Well, I think you basically called it magic medicine bag.
It won't
I'm
heal
just glad they're
completely,
finally doing something
but
like
it'll
that.
help.
Ariel.
I don't mind you going. I will no longer try to stop you. However, you must definitely come back alive. It seems to me that you have the tendency to take your own life for granted. If you die,
But people die when they are killed.
You're contradicting yourself.
also, I went too far by splattering you with ramen.
Sorry.
Aw.
It's fine. I'm the one who started it. But more importantly, I might end up hurting you both for
Since there
using the
isn't
crystal.
going to be a boss fight, I don't think
Don't
that'll
worry
happen.
about me, since it's my fault in the first place.
Miss Ariel, please take this in case something were to happen.
Because I wasted my poor noodles.
A knife, huh?
Many noodles died.
Able to use it effectively? Though I may not look like it, I'm pretty adept with attack magic, you know.
Please, keep it. This time, the enemy is invading.
And this is, I'm sure this is news to the person playing the game, who's never had trouble using magic with enemies adjacent to them.
You're right. Okay.
Well, if she was
Then we
sealed.
shall head to the front lines now.
True.
Please be careful, Miss Ariel.
I wasted my poor noodles. We leave to annihilate, yes. But first, we have another scene.
Yep. The generic battlefield background.
Really all right?
I'm fine. The person I'm worried about is you. You'll be suffering damage every time I fight.
You know, that's something else they could have done, like for the resonant soul thing or whatnot.
The
If
situation
the problem
comes up,
was also, having like a meter for Jubiel and Ariel's HP.
Hmm.
And yeah, you can use the big power whenever
It
you
appears
want,
the enemy has
but it
sent
will
their
hurt
veteran
them.
forces. I am sorry, but it seems I cannot go around to support you two. Please deal with whatever you need to by yourselves.
So, it's changed. I know what I have to do.
Now then, let us go.
It kind of feels like there were a lot of ways they could make this kind of a fun gameplay mechanic, and they never did.
Right.
Okay. So,
Mitting Bane.
I will make the pure mace a guardless, or combine the two. Since I still do not have any weapons that have over 1.
Nice, you're getting 3 points of attack out of that.
Yep.
And you verified that you don't have anything with 3 slots.
Yes.
Or 2 or 3 slots. Well, the Magatama at least has it defensively.
I'm saying this is all I've got.
Ah, fair enough.
So I will just boost all of the things.
Not bad. Get a couple of points out of that.
Okay, so I'll move all of those into the storehouse. And then I can,
You can solve that waste ring.
I will, I just wanted to make sure I had all of the gems out.
Right.
Okay. Because I should be able to boost some of them. If they're worth it.
Ah. The splitting enemies are probably the least threatening of them all.
Right.
Emitting, blasting, weaken.
That's all we've got. Okay.
You haven't been getting quite as many gems, it feels like.
Yeah, I really haven't. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and sell things. So I can sell the hammer.
Yep.
Which is a shame because that would be kind of neat. But
Waste rings are 1,000? That's not great, but it's,
it's more than I get for a lot of these
right,
things.
it's free money.
I don't need that. Let's see.
And I would rather put the cure-alls and stuff like that away rather than selling them, because they don't sell for much.
Well, I've got a fair few.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. I'm never needing that. That isn't really that useful.
Yeah, it's like we mentioned, hit is just a very, poorly implemented thing. What they really should have done is had a certain enemy type that was very difficult to hit, and had them be very rare. So it's like you would know to save hit boosting things from them, hit tiles or something like that. As it is, it's
Might as well get the remarkable and well, just the usual suspects.
yeah, exactly.
Actually, I might as well. Yeah, I think I've got enough for that. Okay. Then we boost some more.
Do it. That was kind of a waste of time so you get any points out of it.
But eventually I will, is the thing. Like, it will always be additive.
Well, see, the thing is that if you didn't notice, upgrading a weapon always costs the same amount, no matter how much you're adding to it. So it would have been better to like combine the weaker items together and then combine them with the more expensive one.
It wouldn't have made that much difference either way.
It would have saved a couple thousand. Just to think of for later. I mean, you go as farm as much money as you need, you know, off screen. You know, so it's not like it really matters in the long run, but
I understand you're trying to maximize everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out, right?
I still can't use that weaken, so I think I will go with a reliable one.
Sure.
Only this one I can use, only I don't know how many I've got. Well, I've got a fair few.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go with the ones that are the most obnoxious. Did we ever find out which one were the needle enemies, by the way?
Yes, those are the injector type things.
Oh yeah, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, customization, let's go. So we've got all skills for Angel, so...
And, yeah, Laura actually joked about the prepare ourselves to be worn out and stuff like that. Yeah, the games like... This game, like a lot of the anime things, tend to be really inconsistent about what it means to have things draining your soul or life force or whatever. And it's like, yeah, as far as we can tell, I mean, just from the way they do the art and they reuse the portraits and everything, it seems like Ariel just gets a bad headache. And it's like, the game is supposed to imply it's a lot worse than that, but we're not shown or told. You know?
Right. Yeah, they needed a few more frames of animation, things like that.
Right. You know, they put some effort into showing us how bad it's supposed to be, so we might actually get invested in your story, which is clearly what, you know, a writer should be going for.
Okay, let's go to the storehouse. I think I had a few more things I could toss out.
Oh, a quick shader. Darn pixel shaders. Yeah, Ben and I are always going to have a fun anecdote about how, after playing the original Deus Ex and reading about Invisible War, Ben was kind of interested in it, and we ended up getting it. Did you end up getting it, or did I and
I
played it? Yeah, you got it. And but our computer at the time, even though we had a fairly recent graphics card, it was like right when they first started doing the separate pixel shader thing. And so as a result, even though we otherwise put the specs for it, it didn't have that. It didn't work. And ditto for Bioshock 1, which he also got on PC. And it was a while before we could play them, because we just didn't want to shell out for, you know, for the graphics cards.
Okay. Actually, I shouldn't need a revive gem.
Lark said, "I'm not in the mood for you to fight right now, Shin. I have a headache."
Then I don't think I'll need either of these, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that can be useful to keep enemies from exploding.
Right. And since I'm fairly sure that you're right, there's no boss on this one. You might just go in lights. You can bring a lot of loot back.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. All right, Bonds of Torment. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, and you notice there's areas in the rotation now.
Yep.